Freebooters Network. I am Dael Kingsmill, and I am here as your guide, your newbie guide, through the newbie's guide to Warhammer 40k. Did I make that more complicated than I needed to? Probably. Alright, so we're getting back into the story. If you haven't joined us before, there's going to be a card in the top corner where you can go back to the first episode and watch all the way through if you want to get caught up on exactly what's going on. But otherwise, let's dive straight in to the beginning of the Great Crusade. Now, I say the beginning of the Great Crusade because we did kind of cover bits and pieces that happened during that, through the Primarchs episodes that we've just done. However, we need to now take a look-see at what other things were going on during that period, what the Emperor was doing, what other people was doing. Let's just find out, shall we? So let's just rewind real quick to the point where the Emperor, having constructed a massive, magnificent fleet, has headed off into the galaxy in order to find his Primarchs, as well as spread the name of the Emperor. Because remember, he wants to collect all the humans back again and kind of conquer, well, everything. It's like Alexander the Great, but instead of stopping and weeping, he just can keep going because it's space. Great analogy from Dael. Left, right, up, down, all over the place, different rulers of different planets were being kicked out of their planets and replaced with imperial rule. And as they did this, the Imperial forces of the Space Marines, as they did this, the Imperial forces outlawed religion entirely across all the different planets by decree of the Emperor himself. It became one of those weird, awkward things, especially after that one Primarch who I honestly should remember the name of, where kind of the Emperor really hated religion, but was kind of taken on as a religious figure himself. Folks over on Mars believed him to be the embodiment of the Omnisire. And so everything got really awkward for the Emperor there, where he's insisting that he is not a god, and everyone else is kind of going, that's exactly what a god would say.
Hail Messiah! I'm not the Messiah! Will you please listen? I am not the Messiah! Do you understand? Honestly!
Only the true Messiah denies his divinity.
Seriously, I've been waiting to use that clip since episode 1. I knew this day was coming. I knew. On top of going and recollecting humans far and wide into their fold, the Imperial conquest also extended to kicking out all the Orcs and Eldar and other non-human races from these planets. Get out, go, scat! Zibbidi-beep-bop-zidda-bop-boo. I can't scat. And of course, let's not forget the planets that were just completely destroyed from up in orbit because they were deemed too corrupted or mutated. So in these early parts of the Crusade, everything was kind of handled by 3 different branches. It was Horus leading one branch, Ferrus Manus leading the second, who's another Primarch. Was he the one who worked in the factory and like introduced art and culture? No, Ferrus, he's the one with metal hands. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's what you get for drowning a big snake in lava. And of course, the third branch being run by the Emperor personally. At some point, the Imperium spread too far and wide, and they were getting a little thin on resources. It was like the Roman Empire all over again, but again, in space. They just didn't have the manpower to actually enforce law across so much distance. And so they had to accelerate their gene seed thingamy process to make Space Marines, which, as you would imagine, made the process a little bit unstable and caused a couple of issues with like mutating gene seed things. Things like the Red Thirst, which affected the Blood Angels and made a whole stack of them basically like feral vampire barbarians, and they had to lock them in a tower and whatever. So yeah, a couple of problems arising there, but nothing to stress about. Don't stress, do not stress. All in all, the Great Crusade lasted for about 200 years, the kind of climax of which was Horus's victory at a place that has a name. The Ullanor Crusade against a huge wah of orcs. In fact, Horus's victory here was such a massive success that at this point the Emperor stepped down and said, actually, Horus, my favored son, is going to be the Grand Warmaster now. He's the Supreme Commander now. Everyone follow his orders, follow his lead. I'm gonna nip back to Terra real quick and work on my super top secret, most secret project. He's making a webway. After to this point, they'd kind of conquered most of the stuff they could conquer, and so what happens then? Bureaucracy reigns. And what happens when bureaucracy reigns? Tensions begin to run high. Especially since people found out that the guy who was making everything super bureaucratic and annoying, the Emperor was kind of maybe thinking of just letting him stay in charge. I mean, look, the Emperor is so focused on his project that not only is he gonna let Vogon extraordinaire stay in charge, but also he's kind of neglected his Primarchs. And without the Emperor's guidance and without a bunch of stuff to keep them busy, all the Primarchs' friendly rivalries that they had during the Great Crusade started towards the end of it to just become actual, like, hatred. Lorgar had apparently already turned on the Emperor, like decades ago in secret. Lehman Russ was fighting with Angron and Lionel Johnson. Perturabo, no one likes Perturabo. But, you know, that makes sense. And in particular, he's like super jealous of Rogel Dawn, which also makes sense. He is my favorite. But Conrad Kurz didn't like Dawn either. And eventually that just escalated into a brutal, like, attack on Dawn that left him super injured. So basically, we reached the end of the Great Crusade and everything's looking kinda terrible. But hey, you can tune in next time and find out if it stays that way. I have a feeling it will. I hope that you enjoyed that video. This is the Newbie's Guide to Warhammer 40k. I'm Dael Kingsmill, and I'm taking you all through my journey discovering what happens all the way up to the Horus Heresy. So if you would like to jump on board that journey, you can hit the subscribe button. You can find me making videos regularly on my own channel, Monarch's Factory. I do a lot of geeky stuff over there. In particular, I tell stories from ancient mythology, giving them a little bit of a geeky twist. The peppermint twist. I should also mention that Geek Nation Tours has just announced their Adepticon tour, so that's definitely worth checking out for all of you tabletop wargaming fans out there. That's it for this week. I will see you next time.